This is the seventh lecture. In this lecture, we are going to see about the operators in Java. Before moving to the operators in Java, I just want to tell some key points regarding the topic we have seen already. One thing is, we saw about the white space. I told it is a form feed language, like either everything can be written in a single line. Also, we have some other things. Here there is no need for you to follow any indentation rules. Similarly, between each token, if you have a white space, that is enough. We will see an example for this. See, earlier I have written the whole code of the program in a single line. Now, without writing the whole code in a single line, see, I have written like this: public, next line static, next line void main. The important thing is public is a token, static is a token. So between these two tokens, at least one white space should be there. That is the rule, and there is no need to follow any special indentation rules. That is, I told, right, like if you press Ctrl Shift F, it will format the program. So there is no need, but this doesn't seems look good. It is ugly, but I'm telling, like this, in this way also you can write a Java program. Like it is a strange way, right? Already we have seen that we are written the code in one line, but here we are writing in a strange way. Like here I am writing system dot, and next line, and after giving this much space I am writing out, and in the next space I am writing hello, all this. Okay, let us see whether we are getting the output or not. See, we are getting the output. So here I am printing two values, one is hello, as well as I am printing the value 10 plus 20, so it is giving the output 30. So this one I want to tell you. Another one, I told in identifiers we can use the symbol only dollar and underscore, and numbers cannot be used in front of the variable name or method name or class name. We will see an example for that also. See here, I have I'll comment all this. See here, I am I'll comment everything. Okay, I told numbers cannot be used before class name, method name and the variable name. First we will see what happens when you use a number before a variable. So here, see, I am using string to count. So 2 is a number and count is a variable name. So in front of the variable name I am using the number 2. So it is showing error. It is showing syntax error on token 2. So delete this token. So obviously you have to delete it. Next one, on the method name. I'll take this method. I have written one method void display, and it is going to print this value. So in this method I am using a number in front of the method name, so it is not allowing. See here, it is showing syntax error on token 2D. Delete this token. Okay, so obviously this is also not allowed. Next one, class name. See, but after the name, like you can use, but this is also not encouraged. But in order to show you in order all the programs, I have written this numbers. Say here we are using this token $1. This is a class name. Okay, So it is not showing any error. Similarly, for underscore also it is not showing error. Already we have seen all these things, but now I am going to use a number before the class name. See, it is showing error, syntax error on token 2D. Delete this token. So all these things also you should know. But after the name of the class or the method, you can use the numbers, which is not encouraged. Now for timing, in order to show you the programs in order, I have given these numbers. So only the special characters dollar and underscore is allowed. Apart from that, numbers is not allowed in identifiers, either before the variable name or method name or the class name. I just want to show this before we go to the operators. Okay, so here now what I am going to do is I am going to explain about the operators in Java. We will see what are all the operators in Java. Already we have seen what are all the operators in Java. So we have arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, bitwise operators, and assignment operators. This I think we have seen in the last class. Like, it is nothing but addition, this is subtraction, this is multiplication, this is division, but this gives the value of the quotient. That is, if you give 9/2, so if you divide 9 divided by 2, you will get the value 4 as the quotient. So here it will give the output as 4 as the result, and this is said to be mod operator or modulo operator. So if you give 9 percentage 2, the remainder is 1, so it gives the value of the remainder is equivalent to 1. Okay, so these are the arithmetic operators available. We will see one by one. Before that, I'll give a short explanation for all these operators. This is less than, that is, this is used for comparing. So comparison operators, so whether two numbers are less than, or whether two strings are less than. Similarly, greater than or less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and here double equal to is used to check if two numbers or strings are equal, and this symbol is not used because this is nothing but equal is an assignment operator. So this is not used. Okay, next this indicates the not equal to operator. We will see an example for all these things. And here logical operators, this logical operators, this is called as logical AND operator. These are used in electronic circuits called as gates. Okay, we will see that also. Similarly, this pipeline symbol, this is called as pipeline symbol, and this is called as ampersand symbol, ampersand, and this is called as pipeline symbol. And this one, it is nothing but not, exclamation mark. So this is logical not operator. So pipeline, it is told to be logical OR. We will see what are all these things shortly. Next one, this is logical NOT operator. Next one, similarly bitwise. What is the difference between logical and bitwise? Bitwise means you will perform the operations on the bits. Okay, 1 byte is equivalent to 8 bits. So here operation will be performed on the bits. So it is called as a bitwise operator. In bitwise operator also you have this bitwise and bitwise OR. This is bitwise exclusive OR. This is said to be exclusive OR, or it can be written as XOR, or it will be written as XOR gate. Okay, so this is the symbol for this. If you see this symbol, it indicates exclusive or XOR or XOR gate. This symbol, this is called as bitwise complement. We will see what are all these shortly. Okay, next assignment operator, that is this one, you know, equal to. Next one, instead of writing a equal to a plus b, I can return in a unary way, that is with only one operand. Okay, like a plus equal to b, which means a is equivalent to a plus b. Similarly, I can write a equal to a minus b. This is equivalent to a minus equal to b. Similarly, for division, multiplication, percentage, ampersand, like this not equal to, and XOR gate, you can write this as an assignment operator, and this is called as left shift operator. This also you can write it as a is equivalent to a less than 3. That is, you have to shift the value of the a by 3 digits. This is said to be left shift operator. So in short, I am writing as a less than or equal to 3, similar to plus minus. So instead of plus, I am using this double less than. Similarly, this is said to be right shift operator. So right shift operator means I want to right shift the digits of a by 2. So I can write like this, or in short, I can write it as greater than or equal to 2. So this indicates this value. Okay, so in short, you have to know all these points. So arithmetic operator, relational operator, logical, bitwise assignment operator. We will see one by one. First one, I'll take the arithmetic operators. This we have seen in the last class itself, but I'll take you one example and I'll explain you. So here I have taken int a equal to 20 and b is equal to 30. So now I am going to add these two values. So if you add these two values, you will get 20 plus 30 equal to 50 as the output. So here a minus b. So a is 20 minus 30. So the output will be minus 10. So here a is 20, b is 30. I'll get the output as 600. And here b by a. So b by a is b divided by 20. Okay, so this will give the quotient. So 3 by 2. So 3 by 2, it will give 1. Okay, sorry, we'll get 30, 20. Okay, don't strike out the 0. So 30 by 20. So 1 times, so 20, remainder is 10. So it will give the quotient is equivalent to 1. So this one is nothing but remainder. So 30 mod 20. So the remainder will be 10. Okay, and I told this plus operator can be used to concatenate strings also. So I have two string value, s1 is equal to Java, s2 equal to cookbook. So I am going to print these two value, s1 plus s2. So the output will be like Java cookbook. Okay, see here I have given this within double quote slash n, that is it will leave a new line. You can write within quotes like this shortly, or you can write SOP simply, nothing over here. Okay, so this also leaves one line, but it is very tedious, and the lines of the code will be increasing. So here use this slash n, backslash n, so it will leave one new line. Okay, we will see how this program gets executed. I have two values, same program I have written there to explain. So I am adding, subtracting, multiplying. This gives a quotient value, this gives a remainder value, and here it is used as a concatenation operator. Let me execute this. See, addition result is 50, subtraction is minus 10, and I have multiplication is 600, quotient is 1, remainder is 10, and the output of the string concatenation is Java cookbook. Okay. Next one, we will see the next operator, relational operators. So relational operators is nothing but it is used as a comparison operators. That is, two operand values will be compared. Okay. So like if you are a computer science student, you will know like what is meant by flowchart. Say for example, I have two values. From here itself you can take A is equal to 100, B is 200, C is 250, and D is 100. Okay, let me take this one. A is equal to 100, B is I have 200, C is 250, and D is I have the same value 100. Okay, so first operation C, what I have like less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and not equal to. So first I am checking whether A is less than B. A is 100 and B is 200. Obviously true, right? So it will print B is greater. So like there is something called as flowchart. It's a pictorial representation. Okay, how they will draw us. First they will give a start box. Next one, they will get the input value. So here we are comparing A and B. So A will be equivalent to 100 and B will be 200. Next they will check. So this is called as decision box. This diamond symbol, it is called as decision box. So they will check A is less than B. So if the condition is true, you can write either yes or you can write true. If the condition is true, what happens? It will print A is greater. So you have to print A is greater, and then the execution will be stopped. So this is said to be flowchart. That is, if you want to explain, if you see this flowchart, you can understand easily. Here you have only one condition, yes condition. There is no condition. So this is said to be if. This is a flowchart for the condition if. Okay, so I am having two variables. A is equal to 100, B is 200. I am checking if A is less than B. If the condition is true, I am printing this value and I am going to halt the program. Okay, instead what I am going to do is, similarly this also same thing. So I am checking the condition C is greater than B. So C is 250 and B is 200. So obviously it's true. So it will print true. Next one, see, I have if as well as else if. Okay, so in this condition I am going to check whether A is less than D. If A is less than D, it will print A is less than D, or otherwise it will again check whether A is less than or equal to D, and if it is equal, then it will print A is equal to D. Obviously A is 100, D is 100, so both are equal, isn't it? So it has to print the else if part. So here I told this is one form. Okay, next one you have if else. this one I didn't given as the coding, but I'll explain you just simply over here. I told two conditions. If a is less than b, it will print a is greater, obviously, or otherwise b will be greater, right? So if the condition fails, no, or if the condition is false, so what happens? It will print b is greater, and then it will come to the stops. Okay, this is if else. Now we will see what is if else if. So now what happens, this start and all you write, and this is initialization of the variables. I'll start from the decision box. So first one, it is checking whether a is less than d. So there are two conditions to that is either yes or no condition. If yes means it will print a is less than 2d, right? So it will print a is less than d, it will print. If the condition is no, okay, so what it does, it again checks whether a is less than or equal to d. So it will again checks a is less than or equal to d. If this condition is true, what happens? It will print a is equal to d. So if this condition is true or yes, okay, so it will print a is equal to d. So this value will be printed. You should not write like this, you have to write like this, print a is equal to d. Okay, if the condition is false, it will stop the execution. Okay, no or false. That is, if you use yes means you have to use yes no. If you use true false means throughout you have to use true false. So here it will come and stop the program. Similarly, if a is less than d, it will print and it will come to the state. Okay, so this is the flowchart diagram for if else if. So first initially it will check if a is less than d. Yes, if the condition is true, it will print and it will stop the execution, or otherwise if the condition fails, it will again check if a is less than or equal to d. So if the condition is true, it will print a is equal to d. If the condition fails, it will come to the end state. Okay, so this is said to be if else if. These are nothing but flow chart. It is a pictorial representation of a program. Okay, so by looking into this program itself, anyone can clearly understand this one. Computer students will know all these. Similarly, see, I am checking another one here. C greater than B. C is 250 and B is nothing but I have 200. Obviously condition is true, so this will be printed. It will not come to the else part. Okay, next one here, if A is equal to D, I told to compare two values you have to give only double equal. So A is nothing but 100 and D is nothing but 100. So obviously both are equal. Okay, so both A and D will be equal. Next, if A is not equal to B, A is nothing but 100, B is nothing but 200. So obviously they are not equal, right? So it will print A is not equal to B. See, I told Java is case sensitive. What is meant by case sensitive? Java is case sensitive. What is case sensitive means? This hello is not equivalent to capital hello, okay, or even this hello is not equivalent to capitalized H with hello. Okay, so everyone that is each letters will have something called as ASCII code. which will work internally. That is, we know that we are pressing the keyboard and something is getting typed on the monitor, but internally everything will be converted into a machine understandable code, like I told, bytecode, right? Similarly, machine understandable code are nothing but ones and zeros, like this. Everything will be converted like this. ASCII means American Standard Code for Information Interchange, this one. Okay, so this ASCII value will be different for this h and this h, so this string will not be treated as equal. So now I am having two strings, s1 and s2. Okay, so here hello is capital, here also like h is capital, so both are same. I am checking are the given strings equal. Okay, so obviously here it will give, it will equal. Now I am going to check are the lowercase and uppercase strings equal. This is lowercase and this is uppercase, so s1 equal to s3, it is not equal, so obviously it will give false. Now see, I am using the not operator. Okay, this is a usual condition. Now I am going to check with the not operator here, s1 not equal to s3. Obviously s1 is not equal to s3, so here it will give the output as true. And here see, not can be used as s1 not equal to s3, or it can be used like you can put the not outside s1 double equal to s3, like this also can use. So I have used this one over here, so obviously this also it will give the result true. Just I want to explain, I cannot explain in like Eclipse by writing, that's why I have copied the code over here. Okay, this is a basic concept. If you are a beginner, it will be helpful. If you know Java, this is like you can understand very easily. We will see in the coding. See, I have next one. I told it's case sensitive. Here I have given that also, this example. See, I have taken two values, pi is equal to 200 and this capital pi. I told both are different, so I am printing these two values. We will see what is the output. See, small pi value is 200 and the capital pi value is 500, so both are different. So Java is case sensitive. Next one we will see what are all the relational operators we have seen so far. See, this and all very easy. If a is less than b, I'll print b is greater. If c is greater than b, I'll print c is greater. And like whatever I explained now, if both are equal, it will print both are equal. If it is not equal, it will print not equal. And now I am comparing the strings. Because numbers already we have seen here and all, so I just want to take two strings and compare. So if I compare, it will give this is true, this is not equal to true, obviously false, and these two conditions it will give it as true. We'll see what is the output. If a is less than b, so b is greater, I am printing. Okay, c is greater than b, obviously c is 250, b is 200, c is greater, so c is greater. Okay, next one, if a is less than d, what is the value of a? A is 100 and d is 100. It is not less than, but it is equal, so this it will be skipped off, so it will come to the else part. So it will print a is equal to d1. Okay, this a is equal to d. Next one, if c is greater than b, c value is 250 and b value is 200, so 250 is greater than 200, true. So here it will print c is greater than b, so it will print c is greater than b. Next one, if a is equal to d, so obviously a is 100 and d is 100, so it will print both a and d are equal. Okay, so here if a is not equal to b, a is 100 and b is 200, so both are not equal, so it will print it is not equal, so it prints A is not equal to B. Next one, I am having two strings. I am three strings, S1 and S2 are same and S3 is not same. So I am checking whether S1 is equal to S2. Obviously it's true, so it is giving the value true. Next one, I am asking whether S1 is equal to S3. It's false, so it is giving false. And I am checking if it is not equal. It's not equal because it is a lower case and this is uppercase. I have used only one H as uppercase, but here I have given lower case. That's fine. So it is not equal, so it's giving true. So instead of writing in this form, you can also write in this form. You can put the not operator outside and you can give the double equal inside. So this also gives true. Okay, so that's all with the relational operators. Next operator we will see. Logical operators. This you should understand better. If you are an electronics student or a computer science student, it will be very easy for you to understand. See, logical, this is said to be logical AND gate, and this is said to be OR, and this is said to be NOT. Okay, there is something called as truth table. I'll explain what is meant by truth table. Say for example, I have two inputs A, B, and C is A, this logical and B. Okay, now I am giving two low values, 0 and 0. So what will be the ampersand, that is logical AND value? Logical AND, it behaves like a multiplication. If you multiply 0 0, output will be 0, and if I give 0 0, 1, so 0 into 1 is 0. 1 into, this is to like make you understand easily. Okay, so 1 into 0 is 0, so both inputs high means output will be high. So like how you have to tell means, if both inputs are high, output will be high. If either of the input is low, output is low. Technically you have to tell like this. Okay, so 1 is treated as high value and 0 is taken as a low value. Okay, or 1 can be called as true if you want to tell it in boolean, and 0 can be called as false also. Okay, so if both inputs are high, output will be high. If either of the one input is low, output will be low. This is a condition. See here, I am checking A is less than B. What is the value of the A? A is 10. So I am checking 10 is less than 20. Okay, this condition is true. And ampersand, A is less than C. What is the value of A? A is 10. 10 is less than 30. Okay, so this is also true. So both conditions true means that is both, it's similar to 1 1. So output will be 1, or it will be true. Okay, or it will be high. Everything same. Okay, we will see what happens. I'll take the first code. See only this one, logical. So what is the output? So if both conditions are true, it will print A is lesser. See only the and. Okay, so it's printing A is lesser. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Here A is greater than B. So it is checking whether A is greater than B. A is 10 and B is 20. So this condition goes false. When this condition, see, when the first condition goes false, it will never check for the second condition in the logical AND, okay, which is not the case in logical OR. So first condition, if it goes wrong, it will come to the else part. So the control will be moved to else part. So it will print A is lesser than B or C. Okay. So it will not check the second part. If the first condition fails, it will come to the else part in logical AND, but this is not the case in logical OR. Okay, even if the first condition fails, it will check for the next condition also in logical OR, which is not the case in logical AND. So since this condition fails, the control moves to the else part and it will print A is lesser than B or C. You will see A is lesser than B or C. So when the first condition is fails, it will print the else value. A is lesser than B or C. Okay. Next one, here, logical OR. What is logical OR? This is called as truth table. Okay, now we will see for logical OR. Logical OR is similar to addition. So I have two inputs and output is A, two pipeline symbols B. So here I will write high, low. Okay, high means 1. So first one, both conditions low, that is 0 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. Next I will have one low and one high. Okay, so 0 plus 1 is 1. Next high and low, so 1 plus 0 is 1. Next high plus high, so here high plus I is nothing but 1. So here technically if you want to tell if either of one input is high, okay, if either of one input is high, the output is high. Okay, here you have to write it as low and this and all high. Okay, if both inputs are low, then output is low. This is what you have to tell technically. Now I am checking if A is less than D. What is the value of A? 10. So 10 is less than D is nothing but 5. This condition is false. If it is an AND operator, it will skip the next checking the condition, it will come to the else part, but here it will check the next condition also. It will check A is less than B. So A is less than B, 10 is less than 20. This condition is true. Okay, so if either one condition is true, output is true. So the output is true, right? So this part will be executed. A is lesser will be executed. We will see. See, it is showing A is lesser. So logical OR means even if the first condition fails, it will check for the next condition. If one input is high, it will print this part. If both inputs are low, then it will go to the else part. Next one, here A is greater than B. What is A? 10. B is 20. So this condition is false, right? Here A is greater than D, 10 is greater than 5. This is true. So in both the inputs, one input is high, so it will print A is greater than B and C. Say it's printing A is greater than B and C. This is the code. Okay, that's all. It's very easy to understand. Just think about the truth table. Next one, not operator. Not operator means it will reverse the conditions. That is, if you give 1, it will inverses and give the output as 0. If you give 0, output will be 1. Okay, that's all. Here I am applying the not operator on the logical AND. So A is less than B, A is 10. So 10 is less than 20. This condition is true, right? Next one, A is less than C. So A is less than C. This condition also true. So the output will be true. So apply not on true or 1. So the output will be 0. Okay. So the output either will be false or it will be 0 or it will be low. Whatever variable you have declared, accordingly it will give the output. See, I'll check what is the not operation. So here it will go to the else part. So if it is 1 means this statement will be executed. Since it is 0, it's inversing the condition result. So this else part will be executed. Clear? And in electronics they will draw the diagram of the AND gate like this one. That is, if you give 2 inputs, output will be C. Okay, logical AND. Similarly for OR, like this, A, B, C will be A, B. Not means like this. Sorry, only one input. So you'll have only one input. If you give A means it will give the A inverse. So this is called as A inverse. This is not operator. Okay, it's very easy to understand. AND means, just to have it in mind, it acts as multiplication. OR means it acts as addition. Not means inverses the value. Just apply the logic and you will find out the result. Okay, next one, bitwise operators. This you have to understand, because like it is applied on the bits I told. Okay, here I have coded all this coding with a assignment operator, but I'll explain for bitwise because I don't want to code twice. Okay, so in this what happens, bitwise operators are nothing but you have to tell this one as, you should not tell single ampersand, you should tell bitwise AND. This is bitwise OR, this is bitwise XOR, this is said to be bitwise complement. Okay, this is bitwise complement and this is bitwise XOR. Now same truth table I have given. Okay, same thing. Okay, see, A, B, this is the output. So if it is false, false, output will be false. Okay, this is for 1. Sorry, bitwise AND. If 1 false, 1 true, output will be false. 1 true, 1 false, output will be false. Both true means output will be true. Okay, similarly see here, I have given f value I have given 0 and true is nothing but I have given the value 1. Here this is similar to f is equivalent to f bitwise and f. Okay, so see, you have to write in bitwise. I told 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. So 1, how we can write is, I'll explain this a little bit later. Just how the bit is 0 0 1 and for 0 it is 0 0 0. Okay, first I'm taking false over false. So false value is nothing but this is true value and false value. First I am taking false over false. So 0 0 0 and 0 0 0. So now apply 0 0, both the false means output is false, so 0. Sorry, this is false. Okay, correct. Similarly, both low, so output will be low. So both low, output will be low. So both low, output will be low. So here what happens? F will be 0. Okay. Next one. True is nothing but it's 1 1. See, this is second one. True is 1. So this bit is 0 0 1, and I am giving this is true is equal to true bitwise and over false. So false is 0. So here this one. So I apply the rule. So if either input is high, that is if either of the output is low, the output is low. So 1 0 is nothing but 0, because see 1 0 is similar to this one. 1 0 output is false, so 0. So 0 0 0 0 0. So I am assigning in this value t, so t becomes 0. Okay, but the original value I have taken t is equal to 1. Now what happens, the compiler will take t as 0, but I don't want t to be taken as 0, so I have again initialized here t is equal to 1. Okay, you will get a doubt why here it is assigned again. Since a value t equal to 0 comes over here, I just want to assign t equal to 1 because I want to take up the initial value for the operations. Next one here. So f is equivalent to f bitwise and over t. So f is 0, this is 0. Okay, t is 1 0 0 1. If one either of one input is low, output is low, so obviously you will get this. So it is stored in f. So here you will get f is equal to 0. Okay, next one here, t is equal to t ampersand t. So t is 1 0 0 0 1. Next again t 0 0 0 1. Okay, so in binary addition, if both bits are high, output is high. True true means output is high, so remaining 0. So the output is t is 1. Okay, so here you will get t is equal to 1. So here you will get f is equal to 0, here you will get t is equal to 0, here you will get f is equal to 0, and t is equal to 1. We will see what is the result. I'll take one like this. I'll comment everything. Okay, so I have taken only this code. Okay, whatever we have seen right now. Let's see what is output. See, so first one value of f is 0. See, just I want to see what is the value of true and false, because I told here it becomes 0, so I am again assigning this value, right? So I am just checking. This is not needed, this is like debugging. Okay, I just want to know what is the value of t, so I am printing. Next one we will get t is equal to 0. So next value we will get t is equal to 0. Next one we will get f is equal to 0. So f is equal to 0. Next one t is equal to 1. So t will be equal to 1. Okay. It will be looking like a big code, but it's very easy. In order to make you understand, I have written all these things. Okay, because if simply give tf and output 1001 like that, it will be confusing. So in order to make you understand clear, I have given everything. Okay, I'll comment this one because we have seen this part. Okay, next part we will see same thing here. Instead of 1 and 0, I have taken high and low. Okay, same thing apply. So high means true, low means false. Here I have taken boolean value. So I told low and low, that is similar to false and false. Output will be false, so the output will be low. Next, high and low. High, this is high and low. Output will be false, that is low. So see here, here I am assigning in high value, so high becomes low. So again I am giving this high is equal to true, or otherwise to say, here the output will be false. Here the output will be false. It will be stored in high. So but I want to use the original data, so I have given high is equal to true. Next, low and high. Low and high, so output will be false, so the output will be false. Next one, high and high, obviously the output will be true. We will see this one, that is using the boolean value I have explained. See, low. Okay, same thing, we'll see the output. So first one we have seen false, so first value will be false. This is for debugging purpose. Okay, next value will be false. Next value also it will be false. Next value will be true, so this value will be true. So this is the code. Okay, same code I pasted over there for explaining. Okay, next one we have seen this one. This and all I have given this for you to make you understand bitwise and using this comment and all to know what I have written the codes. Okay, next one we'll see about the bitwise OR. I told OR is similar to addition. See, logical AND means there you will not using bit. Okay, here it will be operated on each bit, the only difference is that one, but operations and all same. So OR truth table you have to write, that's all. What is OR truth table? OR is if either one input is high, output will be high, isn't it? So here I have given false and true, so let us take both false. Okay, output will be false. I'll take false and true, output will be true, because if either input is high, it will be high. It is similar to addition. Next, true false, so this true means true. Instead of this I have written same thing like high low, that's all. If low means output will be, instead of low I have given false, so this is nothing but false. If low and high, output will be high, nothing but true. If high and low, output will be high, this is true. And if high and high, output will be high, so output is true, that's all. If you write this, you can easily understand. See here, I am applying OR operator. So F, it is equivalent to, as I told already, F is equivalent to F bitwise OR over F. Okay, that bit same thing you put. Okay, I'll tell only for the second one. So obviously here false means output will be false. Okay, so false is nothing but 0. Here also T equal to, that is truth with F, true with false. So obviously output will be T. Okay, see, if I want you to explain this one, true is 1, 0 0 1, false is 0, so 0 0 0. If either input is high, output is high. Okay, so that's why I'm getting this value true. True is nothing but 1. Next one, this is false with true. False is 0, 0 with 1. So if either one input is high, output is high, so 1. Here both inputs are high, true with true, right? So if both inputs are high, obviously output will be high. We will see the output. Okay, so bitwise OR is similar to addition. If any one input is high, the output is high. If both inputs are low, the output is low. So see here, I am getting first value is 0, so this value is 0. Next value is 1, so next value is 1. Next also 1 here. Next this also 1. So here also 1 and 1. Coding is like same coding, operator just I changed, that's all. Next one, a bitwise XOR. XOR is nothing but, here you should know one thing, XOR is nothing but A, B, output is like this symbol you have to use. Okay, if both inputs are low, output is low. If any one input is high, output is high, like 0 1. Okay, similarly if both inputs are high, output is low. Condition is both input should not be same. See here, 0 0, both inputs same, right? So output is 0. Here also 1 1, both inputs same, so output is 0. Here both inputs are different, 1 and 0, output is 1. Here both inputs are different, 0 and 1, output is 1. That is the rule. If both the inputs are same, then output will be 0, that is low. If both inputs are different, output will be high, or the output will be true, or the output will be 1. This is the condition. So what I have written here, if both the operands are different, so output will be 1. If both operands same, output will be 0. Okay, so low low, so both same, so output is 0. One is high, another one is low, so here 1. I told this same logic, right? Since high becomes here, obviously high becomes 1. Here there is no need to assign, but I have assigned. Okay, you can take out this one, and here low and high, so one input is high, so output is high. Here both inputs are same, so both inputs same means obviously output is 0. Here also both inputs same, so output is 0. Here only one input is, sorry, here both inputs are different, so output is 1. Both inputs are different, output is different. Okay, this high and low. Okay, where is this high is declared? See here, I'll just copy this. I'll keep over here. Okay. Okay, so same thing. Okay, this I given the values. That's all. It's not showing any error. So here also the output will be 1 because inputs are different. See, so both inputs same, output is false. Both inputs are different, so output is true. Both inputs are different, output is true. Next one, last one, high and high, both inputs same, so output is false. Okay, next one. See, we have applied this on either true or false, or 1 and 0, or high and low. But if numbers are given, how will you do it? Okay, that's all. Same thing you have to write. Before that, I'll teach you what is meant by 8421 code. Okay, like you have something called as binary. Binary means base value will be 2. Okay, that is either everything will be written as either ones or zeros, like this. Okay, ones or zeros. Next one, you have something called as octal. Octal means base value will be 8, that is from 0 to 7 it will be considered. Next, hexadecimal. Hexadecimal means base value will be 16. Okay, so 16 means from 0 to 15, so totally you'll have 16 values. Okay, next one, in like electronics, you have something called as 8421 code. Either you can write 8421, or like I'll tell you an easy method. First, write 101. Next, alternate this value. Okay, so 2 4 5 6. Okay, next one, here put 2 zeros, 2 1. But you should not write this way. Actually, I will tell another way. Next, 4 zeros. Next, 4 ones. Next, 4 zeros. Next, 4 1. Okay, next one, 8 zeros, 4 5 6 8. Next, 8 ones. That's all. Decimal means base value is 10. Okay, just write here 0. This is 1. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here instead of 10 they will give the value A. This one B. A is similar to 10. They will not write 10. If they give the value a means in hexadecimal it is equivalent to 10, and this is C, D, E and F. Okay, but actually how we have to write this means, see, 8421 code, this is nothing but these are called as weights. 0 means you put everything 0. 1 means here weight is 1, so in place of 1 you have to put 1, remaining places 0. Next 2 means in place of 2 you have to put 1, remaining places 0. Next 3 means 2 plus 1 3, so in place of 2 and 1 put 1, remaining places 0. Next 4 means in place of 4 put 1, remaining places 0. 5 means 4 and 1, so remaining places 0. Next 6 means like in place of 4 and 2, remaining places 0, and it goes on like this. Okay, so this is called as 8421 code, or like hexadecimal values. See, I want to have these are nothing but binary equivalent of the decimal values. Okay, say I want to know the binary value of say I told this is equivalent to 11, 12, 13 and 14, 15. Okay, I want to know the binary value of 15, so just divide by 2. So 7 2s are 14, have the remainder 1, divide by 2. So 3 2s are 6, remainder is 1. Next here, so 1 1. Okay, so till you get the value 0 or 1 you have to do this one. Now write it in the upward direction, so 1 1 1 1. See, you got this value. Okay, so the binary equivalent of 15 is nothing but 1 1 1. Say for example I want to do it for 6. Okay, 6 means divided by 2, so 3, remainder is 0 2, so here 1 and 1. Okay, so that's all. So you'll have 1 1 0, you have to write it as 4 bits means in front you put 1 0. See, for 6 is 0 1 1 0 I am getting. Okay, these are nothing but binary equivalent. This and all you should know, then only it will be easy to understand this one. Okay, so you have to write it as bits. I have considered a is equal to 1. So what is the value of a? 1 means 0 0 1, 0 0 1. Next 4. I am doing the operation like a is equivalent to a or operator 4. So you have to apply the operation of or operation. So for 4 what is the value? This one, so 0 1 0 0. So now apply OR. What is the condition for OR? If either of one input is high, output is high, so 1 0 1, so here 0, so this one 1 0. So what is the value of 1 0 1? 1 0 1 is nothing but 5, so output will be a is equivalent to 5. Okay, next one we'll do for this. A is 1, so 0 0 0 1. Next you have to apply the AND operation here, AND, bitwise AND. So 4 is 0 1 0 0, AND means both inputs should be high, so 0 0 0 0, so output will be a is equal to 0. Since a becomes 0, I want to use the original value. Here again I have assigned a is equivalent to 1. Okay, so now here you have to apply the XOR value. So what is the value of a? A is 0 0 0 1 and 4 is 0 1 0 0. XOR, both inputs same means output is 0. If both inputs are different means output is high. So both inputs are different, so high. Both inputs same, so output is 0. Both inputs different, so this. Both inputs same, so output is this. So 1 0 1, 1 0 1 is again 5. So I am getting a is equivalent to 5. Okay, we'll see the output for these three. See this one, same code. Okay, I'll comment till this. I'll see what is output. See 505, same thing, same code, just here explain, I have explained. Okay, clear? Okay, next one you will see this bitwise complement. This you have to understand little bit. Remove all the things. Okay, we will see what is bitwise complement. Bitwise complement is bitwise complement of any number. Okay, bitwise complement of any number n is given by minus n plus 1. Okay, this you should know. So everything this we can determine. Okay, this is given by minus of n plus 1. Say I have 21. First find the binary equivalent. So 10 2s are 20, remainder is 1. 2 5 2s are 10, remainder is 0. 2 2 2s are 4, remainder is 1. 2 1 and 0. Just write it in the upper direction. Write it as bits. Okay, 1 0 1 0 1. Okay, so now write it as 8 bits. This is 4 bits, there is no value, just add 0. Now you have to find the ones complement of this number. What is ones complement? Ones complement is nothing but you have to find the ones complement. Ones complement means just not all the values, that is inverse. If it is 1 means put 0, 0 means 1, that's all. So here I'll get 1 1 1 0 1 0 1 0. Okay, have this as the ones complement. Okay, now what I told is bitwise complement of any number. See, let me find out the decimal equivalent of this number. Okay, let us see what is the decimal equivalent. If you want to find out the decimal equivalent, this procedure you have to do. That is, first value 0 into 2 power 0. So 0 into 1 is 0. Next one, this is 1 into 2 power 1. So 1 into 2 power 1 is 2. Next one, this is 0 into 2 square. So this value is 0. Next one, this is 1 into 2 power 3. So this value will be 8. Next 0 into 2 power 4. So this value is 0. Next one, this is 1 into 2 power 5. So 2 power 5 is 32. Next one, 1 into 2 power 6. So you'll get 64. Okay, here 1 into 2 power 7, so this is 128. So if you add up all this value, 234, you'll get this value. This should be the output, right? So I am finding the ones complement, so I should get 234. Let us see what is the output for this. I'll comment all this. I'll take only XR. See, I'll take this one. I'll execute only these 2 lines of code. See, but it is giving minus 22. Okay, this is also not. It is giving minus 22. Isn't it weird? Let us see how we are getting that value. What does this computer does? This computer, it gives the 2's complement of the number. Okay, I told, see, a bitwise complement of any number is n is equal to minus of n plus 1. So if you want to find a 21's minus of 21 plus 1 equal to minus 22, this is the value it's giving. Okay, but we will see how we are getting this value. So first for 22, find out the binary equivalent. So this is 11, output is 0, 2, 5 2s are 10, 1, 2, 2 2s are 4, 1, 2, 1, 0. Just write it like this. Okay, so you will get 1 0 1 1 0. So here add 3 zeros. Okay, so find 1's complement. So 1's complement means you have to inverse all these values. Okay, so I'll take some other color. So 1 1 1 0 1 0 0 1. Now you have to find out 2's complement. What is 2's complement? Just add 1 with this. Okay, so in binary, if you add two numbers, two high values 1 1, the output is 0. Okay, so here you will have, sorry, like you will 1 plus 1 is, you will get a 1 and a 0 is the carry. Sorry, 1 is the carry, 0 and 1 will be the carry bit. Okay, so here 1 plus 0 is 1, and here 0 1 0 1 1 1. See, now compare this value with this value, both are same, right? What does bitwise complement means? The ones complement of that number. Okay, it should be the value. So this is a ones complement of this number, but if you convert this into decimal, you are getting some high value, but the computer, it will not give this value. It will find the 2's complement of the result, and if that value matches, that would be the bitwise complement value of the given number. Okay, just If you don't want to have all these, just apply this formula. N is equivalent to minus of n plus 1, because if you are an electronic student or computer science student, it might be helpful. If you are from some other stream, this is not gonna be useful to you anyhow. So just have this formula like n is equivalent to minus of n plus 1. So if you apply this formula, the output will be minus 22. So I am getting this value minus 22. Okay. Okay, next one, we should understand what is bitwise operators, shift operators. This it will be somewhat complicated. Let us see. This is nothing but assignment operator. Assignment operator we have seen in the previous class itself, like addition, this is subtraction, multiplication, this is quotient, and this is remainder, right? So this, just I want to tell everything, so I have given. See, I have given this one. Just execute this. I'll comment these values. If you want the code, you can ping me. I'll send you the code. But just understand the concept. Start programming by yourself. Then only you will understand. Because if you copy and paste and execute the code, you will get the output, but you will not be knowing how you got the output. So the best way is you start coding. Okay, as you start coding, like, you will get to know. So these are the all old operations. A equal to a plus 10, so 20, so blah blah blah, all these. Okay. Okay, we will see the final one, shift operators. This, just you need some concentration. We will see one more shift operations. First we will see the left shift operations. Okay. First we will see the left shift operations. So I have given b is equal to 9. So find the binary value. So 9 divided by 2, 4 to 8, remainder is 1, 2, 2, 1, 0. So just write like this. So binary equivalent of this is 1, 0, 1. Okay. So this is the binary equivalent. So I am telling right shift this value by 1. So b is equivalent to 1. So this is equivalent to right shift b by 1 digit. Okay. So write it as 8 bits. 1, 1, 0, 0, 1. Write it as 8 bits. So in front add 4 zeros. Okay. What I am going to do is I am going to shift the bits from left to right. So this shift here. Okay. So write this value, that is whatever value you are shifting from here, this location to this location, you have to write this location. So now shift this 0 to over here. Next, now shift this 0 to here. Shift this 0 to here. So output will be 0. Shift this 1 to here 1. So shift this 0 to here 0. Shift this 0 to here, this one 0. Okay, so the output will be, this is just apply 8421. So here like in the column of 4 you have 1, so this value is nothing but equivalent to 4. This is the decimal value. So okay, so this is the hexadecimal decimal or hexadecimal equivalent. See, or otherwise you can use one formula. It gives n, like this gives a quotient value 2 power of how many shifts, how many bits you want to shift. Okay, so 2 power b bits. So this is equivalent to n value is here 9. 9 divided by 2 power 1. So this is 9 divided by 2. So obviously 9 by 2 means 4 2s are 8, remainder is 1. So this is the quotient. See, this is the same value I got. Okay, apply the formula. That is, I want you to know how this bits get shifted. That's why I just want to explain. Okay, so it shift by one digit, so you have to shift 1 by 1. That's all. So the output will be 4. Use this formula or otherwise. See here, so I am shifting by 1 bit. We will see what is the result. See, right shift value of B is 4. Okay, next one we will see what happens when the bit is shifted by 2 positions. So I am going to shift it by 2 positions now. Same thing you have to apply. So now shift it by 2 positions. Okay, okay, now we know what is the value. So in front add 0 1 0 0 1. Okay, let us see what happens. So from here shift it to 2 positions. So write this, not this value but this value. Now this 0 is shifted over here. 0. This 0 is shifted over here. This 0 is shifted to here. This one is shifted to here, and this 0 is shifted over here till the first bit reaches. Okay, that's all. So 8421 code is, what is this value? Eight four two one. So the output will be 2. Okay, or otherwise apply this formula, n divided by 2 power bits. How many bits you want to shift? 2 bits. So this is equal to 9 by 4. So 9 by 4 means 4 2s are 8. So this 2. So the output is 2. Okay, that's all. So this is the way you have to shift 3 bits 3. See, why this formula is given means, like if they want to shift by 7 bits and if the value is very large, then it's not easy to find out manually. So that's why here they have given the formula. Just apply the formula and find out the result. Okay, we will see what is the output for this. See, it's given 2. Next one we will see for this one, then we'll go over here. Let us complete the left shift, sorry, right shift. Okay, now see, I have the value C is equal to 135. I have C is equivalent to 135. Find the binary equivalent. So by 2, 6 2s are 12, 7 2s are 14, 2 3 2s are 6, 1 2 1, 6 2s are 12, 8 2s are 16, 4 2s are 8, 2 2s are 4, 1 0. Just write upwards. So 1 1 2 3 4 zeros, 1 1 1. Okay, so write it as 8 bits. So already it is in 8 bits. Okay, now just apply the rule, like you have to shift it 3 positions. So this is 3 positions, so here to here. So what happens? 1 from here to here, so 0. So from here to here, so 0. So from here to here, so 0. So from here to here, 0. Okay, so since it doesn't comes under 8421 code, just apply this. This location is 2 power 0. Since 0 multiplied by anything is 0, so this is 2 power 1, this is 2 power 2, this is 2 power 3, this is 2 power 4. 2 power 4 is 4 side 8 is a 16. Okay, so 1 into 16 is 16. We will see what is the result. So n is 135 divided by 2 power 3 bits, so 135 divided by 8. You should see what is the quotient. So 135 divided by 8, 8 one time, so what you will get? 5, 55. So 6 times 48. So output, sorry, the remainder will be 2 7. See, 16. So that same value I am getting over here also. So the output for this program will be 16. We will see what is the output. 16. Okay, this is about the right shift. Now we will see the one remaining topic, left shift. Okay, we will see what is left shift. I'll explain the next page. Okay, so C is 135. I am having C is equivalent to left shift by 3, or you can write it as C is left shift by 3, both same. I'll copy this. What is the binary equivalent of this value? So it is 14011, 14011. 1 1 1. So this is the binary equivalent. Now you have to shift the bits by left. Okay, so like if you want to right shift, you have to start it from left. Here start it from right. So let me write 1 0 0 0 1 1. So 3 positions. So from here to here. So 1. From here to here. So 1. From here to here. So 1. Right? From here to here. So 0. See, there are no bits available, so just add a 0. See, you should not add afterwards because the value gets changed, but before you can change, sorry, you can add. Okay, let me add 3 bits. Okay, from here, so from here to this one, so 0. Okay, from here to here, this also 0. From here, okay, that's all the bits are shifted. Okay, now here in the front position add a 0. Okay, now apply the same rule. You understood? 3 bits you have to shift it till the last bit is reached. You have to shift it, that is in front you can put 0 0, and similarly here also, like you can add this, nothing but see this bit is shifted here, that's all. So here this position is 2 power 0, 2 power 1, this is 2 power 2, 2 power 3, 2 power 4, 2 power 5, 2 power 6, 2 power 7, 2 power 8, okay, it's gone. Just to have this 2 power, see these values, leave of those thing. That is final value. I will write once again. What is the final value we got as 0 1. One second, I'll check. One 0 0 4. See, finally here, since it's erased, I can't recover this data. Okay, I'll write what is the final value we got. We got it as like 1 0 4 0 1 4 0. Next triple 1 1 4 0. Okay, next one 3 0 we got. Okay, so this value is 2 power 0, this is 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3, 2 power 4, 2 power 5, 2 power 6, 2 power 7, 2 power 8, 2 power 9, and this is 2 power 10. Okay, wherever you have 1, consider that values only. So here you have, so 2 power 3 is 8. Next 2 power 3, 2 power 4, 2 power 4 is 16. Next 2 power 5, 2 power 5 is 32. Okay, next here are all 0 because anything multiplied by 0 output will be 0. So here 2 power 10. So 2 power is 1024. Okay, so if you add up all these value 8 and 14 18 20 0 2 3 5 8, so 1080. So the output will be 1080. See, when you do a left shift, how the value changes drastically, or you can apply the formula n multiplied by 2 power number of bits shifted. Okay, so n is nothing but here 135 into 2, how many bits shifted? 3 bits. So this is equal to 135 into 8. So 44, 24, 28, 2000. See, this value and this value same. So this is said to be left shift. The one thing is, from here, from this end, you have to shift 3 bits. Okay, this got erased, sorry. Okay, we'll see the program. So I am shifting left. See, the output is 1008. That's all. Okay, so we have seen all the operators. So like what are the operators we have seen? We have seen the, we'll go to the first page. If you are a beginner, it's good to know all this thing in detail, because see, so what are the operators we have seen? Arithmetic, this is very simple. Relation is also very simple. Logical, you have to understand little bit, but if you know the truth table, you will be able to tell this one also easily. Logical. Okay, next one, bitwise, it's also very easy, a truth table. The only toughest thing is, not toughest, like a little attention you need is this left shift operator and right shift operator. Even right shift operator is very easy, but left shift operator you just need some attention, and the bitwise operator. Okay, sorry, bitwise complement. Just apply the formula. If it is bitwise complement, means minus of n plus 1. Okay, if it is like greater than, means you have to apply the formula n divided by number of bits shifted. If it is less than, means n asterisk 2 into how many bits are shifted. Just use this formula, because if you go for that and all, it's very tedious. But I just want you explain everything, because like you will understand how the process is taking place. Okay, okay, with this we will wind up this session. We will see in the next session what are all the data types, or like whatever the topics we want to proceed. Okay, thank you.